Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road, providing personalized service with every certified pre-owned Land Rover. Benefits include a 165-point inspection and a 1-year unlimited mile warranty. More at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com.
A Peoria artist is using her new exhibit to remind people of a community garden that used to be. That's just one of the things you want to hear about to start your day for Friday, August 16th. I'm Tim Shelley, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, the Peoria Park District is commissioning Preston Jackson to create a new work for the spot where Christopher Columbus once stood in Upper Bradley Park. The bronze sculpture will pay tribute to the Native Americans who originally lived in central Illinois. Trustee Steve Montez was the sole no vote. He opposes paying Jackson a portion of his fee up front.
But you got to pay $25,000 before you drop out if you don't like what's going on.
But Trustee Joyce Harrent says that wouldn't be fair.
It seems like we're asking somebody to put in tremendous creative work, and so there has to be some give and take in that process, especially trust when you've got an artist of such stature.
The Columbus statue was removed in 2020 amid a wider national backlash to the explorer's controversial legacy, and in particular his treatment of Native people. Neighborhood groups lobbied the Park District to replace the Columbus statue with the monument of the Greek goddess Hebe, but that idea was rejected. Here are some other stories we're following today in the WCBU newsroom. A Peoria Heights cannabis dispensary will get a $240,000 forgivable loan from the state as part of a social equity award program. The attorney representing Sony Massey's family is calling for new reforms to beef up accountability and law enforcement hiring processes. Illinois Democrats are newly energized about the party's chances for keeping the White House as Vice President Kamala Harris surges in the polls. Find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. On this week's episode of Out and About, Dr. May Gilland-Wright talks with artist, environmentalist, and community advocate Jessica Thomas McGee. They talk about McGee's local mural work, her use of trash and artwork, and her advocacy work with unhoused people. Her upcoming exhibition in an unblighted area is at Heartland Community College now through October 11th.
Jessica, welcome to Out and About.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So you have a long time history as an artist in Peoria. In fact, anyone who has spent time in Peoria has likely seen your work, even if they don't realize it. I think my first exposure to your art was through your large-scale murals.
I tend to go big or go home. So, I started doing, when did I started painting the inside of a bar that I owned. And that was when I really started practicing with like bigger murals. And one of our customers asked us to do a really big one further up the street and just kind of took off from there. I never thought that murals was something that I would do.
Tell us about some of your favorite ones here in Peoria.
So my favorite mural that I did is next to Diesel. It was a bar called Lava. Now I think it's called the Zoo. I don't get out much. But it took me about 180 hours, and it is the biggest, most detailed mural I've ever done, and I'm so proud of it. And it encompasses my travels because I wasn't able to travel until I was an adult, and so it was really cool to take my travels and put them on this building.
And so let's talk about the evolution of your work. You still paint, you still do murals, but you're also now known as an environmental artist.
Yeah, so apparently I've been an environmentalist way longer than I ever thought. When I went to Illinois Central College, I was the president of the Student Association for the Environment, which I remembered when I saw pictures of myself in a hazmat suit in a dumpster. I think I just forget, but I did a conservation trip to Costa Rica working with sea turtles. I saw wildlife actually interacting with garbage. I think we've all seen viral videos of trashed beaches, but to be standing in the middle of it was a completely different experience. And it changed the trajectory of my work. So 2017, 2018, I started working with garbage and really focusing on the environment.
I have many of your pieces that have resulted from that, your jewelry that you create, and you have garnered quite a following internationally through social media, especially through TikTok and Instagram. What is it like to have your work go viral, and what work is going viral?
So I always tell people it is a blessing and a curse. It has definitely grown my audience, which means it has grown my customer base, which allows me to sell work and support my art so that I am a fully self-supported working artist now, which was the dream. So that part is amazing. Initially, when I first started having my viral moments, I was not prepared for the hate. And so that's always hard. You know, I had a lot of people who would tell me that I was destroying the planet and, you know, just spreading microplastics around. And I think I had to get right with the fact that when it comes to certain things about environmentalism, I'm more informed than some of the people who might come across my videos. And now I just have fun with it. I'm a sarcastic, petty person when I want to be. So I just consider, you know, the negativity content, which helps me grow my customer base further.
You are one of the most community-oriented people that I have ever met, especially you serve those who are unhoused through a nonprofit that you help run called Lula. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Lula came about during the pandemic. I was doing volunteer work with Jolt Harm Reduction. We were doing harm reduction work, and all the food kitchens had closed down because of the pandemic, and there was a gap. And so Lula was created to serve that gap, to kind of serve people who are living on the street until they are able to find more permanent housing. And I took a big step back from that for a while for mental and physical health reasons, but I still do fundraising, and I still do some donation management and social media. And I grew up unhoused for about 4 years, lived in a car, not in a tent on the street, but still, you know, without stable shelter. So it just speaks to something that I feel like I need to do.
You've been listening to Highlights of Out and About, a production of WCBU and Arts Partners of Central Illinois. To listen to the full interview, visit WCBU.org or subscribe to the podcast.
Support for arts and culture coverage on WCBU comes from PNC Financial Services. PNC is committed to supporting local art and culture events in the communities they serve.
Now, before we let you go, local singer-songwriter Barry Cloyd and friends are playing a concert tonight at Wildlife Prairie Park. The evening will also include a keeper chat with an animal ambassador. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, or the NPR app.